Yes, guys, Jack back with another video. Today is a special one. We are at the Christmas break, so Merry Christmas to all of those who do celebrate that. We are basically at the halfway point of the season, 17 games played, but Christmas is a nice marker to kind of split the first half of the season and the second half of the season, even though we still do have one more before we get to 18 games played. So today, I'm going to be reviewing all the Man City squad and the manager to see what I think, how have we done so far this season. Before we get into it, do like, subscribe if you are new. I very much appreciate all the support we're getting on the channel. Almost at 750 subs, which is awesome. So thank you guys as always, and my social links, Discord link in my channel description if you're interested. So first on the list, let's go with James Trafford. Been a bit up and down for him, I would say, this year. He's only played 3 games in the Premier League, was brought in potentially to be that number one. Didn't work out. We ended up with Donnarumma late in the window, and I would say it's been, maybe a 5 out of 10 for Trafford, and he's not going to get any game time ahead of Donnarumma, so personally, I think he leaves in the summer, but doesn't look likely for him to leave in January. I think City rely on him as the cup keeper, and Donnarumma just will play over him for the time, and Trafford will just leave in the summer, in my personal opinion. So let's go 5 out of 10 for James Trafford. Bettinelli, no games, not going to rate him. Ortega, no games, not going to rate him. Donnarumma, the guy has been a revelation in terms of a signing. He's been probably one of the best signings of the window to me. 7 clean sheets in 14 Premier League games, only conceded 12 goals, saved the 1 penalty that he did face, which was scored on a rebound, but he still saved it technically. I'm going with a pretty high rating, probably an 8.5 out of 10 for Donnarumma. He has been very, very good for us, and then in the Champions League as well, also been very good. Only conceded 4 goals in the games he's played in the Champions League. So in my opinion, I think he's done a fantastic job. Really, Donnarumma. We love to see Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. He's becoming a fan favorite for sure. Matheus Nunes, the makeshift right back. Very interesting. If you look at his games, 15 in the Premier League, 2 in the Cup, 4 in the Champions League. And I'm not really going to count the Club World Cup in terms of this review. Maybe started off a bit shaky in the initial beginning of the Premier League, but over the last 2 months or so has been outstanding at right back, and honestly is staking a claim to be our long-term right back. He is 27 years old, so long-term might only mean 3 more seasons after this one at right back, which, maybe that's not exactly long-term. He has shown some defensive versatility lately, moving into midfield, replacing Nico Gonzalez when we needed to give Nico a rest, could because of Rodri's injury. So I do like that. I will monitor that, see if he can continue to do that throughout the season. But honestly, Nunes at right back has been one of the better Premier League right backs for sure. I'd probably go with a 9 out of 10. He's been very good, and I'm very pleased with Matheus Nunes. Rico Lewis, interesting season for him. I would say pretty disappointing. I'm looking somewhere like a 4 out of 10. I mean, he's only played 15 games so far, 8 Premier League games, 3 appearances in the Carabao Cup, 3 in the Champions League. Has not really stood out. Only 205 minutes in the Prem. Again, he seems underwhelming when he plays. I know there's a talent in there for sure. He's versatile, can play left back, right back, midfield, but is he great at any one of those positions? I don't think so, and I would not be surprised if links arose in January. City consider a sale potentially, but probably more likely in summer, in my opinion, for Rico Lewis to leave. So I'd go 4 out of 10. Not great for him. Ruben Diaz has had quietly probably one of the better seasons for a center back in the Premier League. I know Mark Gahey gets all the plaudits. Arsenal's Gabriel and Saliba go in the team of the season all the time. But honestly, Ruben Diaz has been back to his absolute best. He's got 2 goals as well, which, he never really scores goals in the Premier League. 17 Prem appearances out of 17, 5 Champions League appearances as well. He's been a leader at the back, and it is nice to see him back to his best, leading from the back and defensively very, very solid. I rate him very highly. Let's go 9 out of 10 for Ruben Diaz for me. John Stones, a difficult one to rank. I mean, he initially started out extremely well, but injuries. Kind of the same story. He's only limited to 13 games. He's only played 350 minutes in the Premier League. I mean, he hasn't played since December 2nd. The guy is just an injury machine. Are we ever going to see him back to his absolute best at City? I really doubt it. I could see him leaving in the summer. Contract does expire. I don't know why we'd be offering a guy a renewal who cannot play. He can't be relied upon. So, 5 out of 10. Because when he plays, he's still good. He just, unfortunately, is never available. Next on the list here, Nathan Ake. One to watch in this January transfer window. I would not be surprised if he actually leaves the club in January. We've seen interest from Crystal Palace as well as Bournemouth. This Semenyo deal incoming potentially opens that up. Maybe we do some friendly business with Bournemouth and send him the other way in a separate deal. As far as minutes, he just really hasn't played much at all this year. 15 appearances, 7 Premier League, 3 in the Cup, 3 in the Champions League. He probably is not thrilled with the minutes and will look for a move. 4 or 5 out of 10 for Nathan Ake. He's not been horrible, but when he does play, you can see the lack of pace and the lack of athleticism. It's just past him at this point, so I would not be surprised to see him go. Josko Vardiol has had a relatively good season. I don't think he's reached the heights of Ruben Diaz as center back. He's had some good moments, some poor moments. 22 appearances, 13 in the Premier League. Has been a goal threat from set pieces, one of our only goal threats from set pieces. And he's been defensively solid, but not quite as good as Ruben Diaz to me. So I would go, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10 for Josko. But I do love Josko, of course. Kusanov, another difficult one to rate. He hasn't made too many appearances, only 10 so far this season. He had an injury and was out for a while and hasn't really returned to the side. He made a few appearances at right back, and we thought maybe he could be the solution, but Nunes, like I said, holding that position. So 250 minutes in the Premier League. There's rumors we're going to buy a center back in Mark Gahey. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But should another center back come in this window, I would imagine, again, that pushes Kusanov down the pecking order, which I know people love him. He is just a rather aggressive and, I would say, unsettled defender. I mean, he's very good at times, but he's also so aggressive, which he maybe needs to rein in a bit. I'd go with a 6 out of 10, something like that for him. Nico O'Reilly, left back of England's future, potentially. He has made his claim to be the left back for the World Cup squad. I mean, the guy, I'm not sure, could be having a better season than he is. 2 goals, 4 assists this year already in 25 games from the left back spot. He inverts into midfield. He can go up and play almost like a pseudo left winger at times. He's been amazing, one of our best players, and completely displacing Ryan Knight-Norrie, our summer signing, at left back. For Nico O'Reilly, I'm going with an absolute 10 out of 10. I don't know what he could do better, honestly. Ryan Knight-Norrie, the guy who was displaced by Nico O'Reilly, it's kind of hard to rate him. He's basically not played 11 games this season in the Prem, 5 in the Prem, 11 in all comps, and 3 of those were in the Club World Cup, which we're not even really counting. Injuries have held him back. He's on international duty. I mean, it's been not good for Ryan Knight-Norrie. When he's played, he's been all right, but he just got no minutes, really. I'd go with a 3 out of 10 for him. I don't think he's a bust, a wasted transfer. He's just getting completely outplayed by Nico O'Reilly right now. Kovacic hasn't played all year, so kind of difficult to rate. I would say, not applicable an NA rating for Kovacic. Will we see him again? I don't know. It depends on how he recovers from this Achilles injury, which can be a brutal recovery. Nico G. Man, I don't know where we would be without this guy in the club. He has got 26 appearances. That's got to be up there for most in the team. He's been a revelation in terms of replacing Rodri. Is he as good as Rodri? No, probably not, but he's doing a dang good job filling in that role, and the guy is just spamming minutes. I mean, if you look at the last 10 games, he's basically played all the full 90s bar the last couple here. The guy is relentless. He has made a massive improvement, and I'd go very high, like a 9 out of 10 for Nico Gonzalez. Rodri, another difficult one to rate. He's barely played, had another injury setback. Who knows when he's available again? So it's difficult to rate him. I'm not going to actually rate him. Calvin Phillips, he might as well not be a member of Manchester City Football Club. I'm not going to rate him, but if he could find a loan move in January, that would be nice. Mikasa done a good job, played a couple of times. Don't really need to rate him, but good to see an academy player make it on the bench and get on the field at times. He's looked all right. No concerns. Sejani Reinders has had, I would say, an up and down season. He started out firing, absolutely firing, first game of the season, and then his performances kind of took a nosedive, and he was very average or even below average at times. But lately, last few games, I think he's really picked it up. In December, he's been pretty good, I would say. So we are trending back up, and he's got 3 goals, which is nice. Like some more from him, but I can see the player there. He's very good, obviously, and maybe he just needs some time to adapt to Pep's system, and he'll be a very good player for us. I'd go with like a 6.5 out of 10, something like that for Reinders. Bernardo Silva, another interesting one because we know he's not going to reach the heights of prime Bernardo Silva, which was one of the best players in the Premier League, but he's doing a good job, I would say, so far for us. 17 Premier League appearances, 26 on the season. He's not a G&A guy. He never has been really a guy that gets you goals and assists, but he does the dirty work. He works so hard. He really allows Foden and Cherky to get forward and express themselves while he's back doing the defensive hard yards. So he's kind of an unsung hero in a way, with his abilities and his football IQ, and it's more of it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, I would say, Bernardo Silva. So 7 out of 10. He's not been amazing, but he does a very good job when he's in there, and what he's asked to do. Phil Foden, coming off his worst season as a professional for City. There were some out there, some crazy, strange people who said we should sell this guy. What a load of BS that was. He has been superb once again in the Premier League. Probably one of the best players in the Premier League season this year. 7 goals is up there on the Golden Boot chart. Not quite, Haaland numbers, but he's already surpassed last season's stats. 13 goals, 5 assists for us so far in 27 games. Yes, a few of those were in the Club World Cup, but again, he has been one of the best players in the league, back to his absolute best. You can even hear it from Pep in his press conference. He really rates Phil, and Phil is basically undroppable from the team. He has been awesome. I'd go, 8.5, 9 out of 10 for Phil Foden. Moving on down the list, we have Ryan Cherky, the maverick that he is. I mean, he is one that he's a player you want to watch. Even if you don't like Man City, you don't support him, you probably watch City games to watch this guy play football. He's that type of player. He's not Ronaldinho, he's not Neymar, but it's that sort of flair, that Brazilian flair that you don't really see from City players typically that he's got. He's got the Rabona assist already. He does a back heel every 5 minutes, it feels like. It's different with him. And, he had the injury and missed a lot of games, but as we slowly ramp him up, he's been really, really impressive. And I'm sure all City fans are loving what they're seeing from Ryan Cherky. He's up there near the top of the assists leaderboard while only playing 550 minutes in the league. So much more positive things to come for Cherky, in my opinion. He is still young. He's only 22. The best, I think, is in the future for him, but I would go probably 8.5 out of 10 for Cherky. He's just a joy to watch, and I think he offers so many unique qualities that most players have. It's very nice that we have him in the team, and we got him for so cheap. It's beautiful. Savinho, a player that does divide opinion for sure. Has he had a good season? I would say not really. Has he been poor? I don't know that he's been poor either. He's played 13 Premier League games, no goals, which I think that's where he gets a lot of his stick. He's an extremely poor finisher, whether it's the left or the right. He just doesn't hit the ball with conviction. Feels like he's never going to score when he's one-on-one. He is creative. I will give him that. He finds assists. He can, if he's on the left wing, he can go to the byline and send it across to the back post and find Haaland. He's decent at that, but Is he Man City's level? I'm not so sure. I would not be surprised if there was a move for him in the works, maybe in the summer. I don't think January, probably, but I just don't personally see it with Savinho. Play on the right, can play on the left, but I don't know. I just don't think he's particularly good at any one specific thing, and I certainly think we can do better than him. He has had decent games, like this Carabao Cup Brentford game. He was very good, but those have been very few and far between for me. So I'd go with like a 5 for Savinho. Not had a good season, and I could see the links returning soon for him to leave. Oscar Bob, as much as it pains me to say, has had a woeful season. I love Oscar Bob. You guys know I believe in him. Absolutely, but 17 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. The goal was in the Club World Cup as well. It's been nothing short of a disaster. Injured in one of his last potential opportunities to perform against that Brentford game in the Carabao Cup, and he got injured. It's a hamstring injury. Honestly, we may never see Oscar Bob play again for the club. He could leave in January. The injury could be severe, and he could leave in the summer, and we just never see him again. He could go on loan. We could sell him, hopefully with a buyback, because I do believe there's a player in there, but it's just been hard break after hard break for Bob with injuries and lack of confidence. You know, the Norway manager was massively critical of him, and I don't think that helped. So I would expect Bob to leave the club in January or the summer, and it's like a 3 out of 10 for Bob, unfortunately. Jeremy Doku probably had his best season for the club this year so far, I would say. Still not really a goal getter in a way. He's only got 1 Premier League goal, which is a fair criticism of him, but he does create chances. That's one thing he's really improved on this year for me. He's always dangerous. Maybe he's not going to have the greatest end product, but when he gets the ball and he takes his man on one-on-one, something good potentially can happen there. There's potential for a goal-scoring opportunity. Strikes fear into other defenders, and a lot of times he ends up getting doubled up, which eventually does open someone else up to create something else, maybe in the center of the pitch, or if we get a quick switch all the way on the right-hand side. So he has had a very good season. Unfortunately, injured at the moment, but we should get him back pretty soon. It says early January, but you never know with these exactly. I'd say like an 8 out of 10. He's been one of the better left wingers in the Premier League for me, for sure. Omar Marmoush, disappointing season. I would think he thinks that as well. Basically played no football whatsoever. 200 minutes in the Premier League. 18 appearances with 3 of them in the Club World Cup. I mean, it's been brutal for Omar Marmoush. He got an injury, which was pretty severe. Saw him miss, a month and a half, 2 months of game time. And he just has not come back into the side whatsoever. And when he has played, he's looked, not quite up to speed, up to scratch, unfortunately, Omar Marmoush. But I don't know. For me, there's a player there. I think if we can figure out how to utilize him correctly, because he's not going to play striker over Erling Haaland. Is he really a left winger, a right winger? I'm not really sure what his best position is. When you are behind Doku, it's difficult to get minutes. But one thing he does do very well is strike the ball and score goals. That really hasn't materialized at the moment, but he did do it last year. 22 games for us, 8 goals. That output is something we lack from other players other than Erling Haaland, and ideally, once he's back from international duty, maybe that form can carry over from a good AFCON and he can get back in the side. But so far, it's been a horror season for Omar Marmoush. I'd say a 3 out of 10, something like that. Now, to end it on more of a positive note, Erling Haaland has been, in my estimation, the best player in the world this year. 19 goals in 17 Premier League games. He's got 28 this year in 27 games. The guy has been ridiculous. I mean, every game it feels like he's either getting a goal or 2. If he has a stretch where he doesn't score a goal, he comes back the next game and is bagging instantly right away. He always looks like he's up for it, ready to go, get goals, and just, you never doubt the guy. You never doubt him. It's just so clear that there's no one like him in the world. And for me, like I said, he is the best player in the world. Scoring goals, they always say, is the most difficult thing to do in the game, and he does it better than anyone in the world. By far, to me. I mean, you look, goals percentile, 100 percentile. No one is better than him. You maybe can argue people are more nice to look at on the ball, like Mbappe. He's a 5-star skiller, but Haaland, give me Haaland over Mbappe all day long. Absolute 10 out of 10 season for Erling Haaland. Now, before we wrap it up, I will speak on Pep Guardiola for a moment and just talk about what I think we've done. I mean, we find ourselves currently second in the Premier League. We're in a great spot in the Champions League. We have moved to the semifinals of the Carabao Cup. We haven't started our FA Cup run just yet, but we're right in and around it, competing for all the trophies available. Pep has tinkered and moved the squad around. He's even basically cut players out from getting minutes. He went with a basically the same starting 11 for a good 5-6 game stretch recently, and I think that's what is working for us. We've got some consistency. The Pep roulette thing that people always talk about isn't really happening at the moment. It seems like he has 14, 15 guys that he trusts, and those are the guys that play at the moment. So I'm sure there are players who are unhappy with that, but I think Pep has done a very good job. We are, like I said, competing for basically everything at the moment. So I'm all in. I think Pep's done a great job. There are, of course, those rumors that he may leave at the end of the year. And me personally, I mean, if we win the Champions League, win the Premier League, I could see him walking away on a high. But, it's up to Pep. Nobody knows what he's going to do. I've said this before, but if Pep decides he's leaving at the end of the year, he's going to leave. If he decides he's staying, he's going to stay. No one else knows. It's all up to this guy. The club will let him do whatever he would like. He's the best manager the world has ever seen. The club is not going to do anything and force him out. He will stay as long as he wants. So those are my initial halfway through the season review of the Premier League squad. I think City are doing great. We're in a great position. We're looking to strengthen, maybe buying Antoine Semenyo here in the next week or so. We shall see. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you, of course. And if you are new, do hit subscribe. It really helps me out. I appreciate the support. Let me know your thoughts on City so far this year in the comments. Leave a like on your way out. And I will see you guys in the next one.